Okay guys, you've asked me to talk to you about old suspicious moments, and today I want to talk about a mystery that's been bothering me for a long time now, one that concerns BTS as well as, in my opinion, JiKook. As always with these videos, I don't do analysis. I will let you know very clearly which bits of this are facts, which bits are my opinion, and let's see if you come to the same conclusion that I did. I'd love to hear what you have to think about it all, so please remember to subscribe and tell me what you think in the comments. So bear with me a bit now, because we're going back in time. This all started back in December of 2019. On the 9th of December of 2019 at 8 p.m., JTBC Newsroom broadcast a report claiming there were disputes between the BTS members and Big Hit, that the members had filed a lawsuit against Big Hit after disputes about profit sharing. So far not very exciting, right? Rumors like this about disputes between idols and their agencies are not uncommon, and that right there is an important fact to remember. A squabble between idols and the agency is not news. But later, as I'll explain in depth, it was revealed that during the course of their quote-unquote interview, they were caught entering restricted areas of the Big Hit building and filming without permission. Spicy? Yeah, just a bit. Right, so who is JTBC? JTBC is a cable/satellite TV network, and JTBC Newsroom is their flagship nightly newscast. The program was launched back in December of 2011, and together with the launch of the network itself. So this is a premier news program. It's not some tabloid or rag. So this report that they put out was supposed to be serious journalism. And JTBC up to this point, had a close enough relationship with Big Hit that they were the ones that were broadcasting run episodes twice a week, and had actually gotten some special concert recording rights as well. So what was in this televised report? Well, they claimed that the members of BTS were filing a lawsuit against their agency about profit distribution, and that Big Hit was preparing a legal response. But more interesting to me than what was in the report is the question of why they would broadcast such lies when they knew they would be caught out. Why was it worth it to them for such a mundane story about a contract dispute? And getting caught out did not take long. At 1:25 a.m. on December 10th, so only a few hours later, Big Hit released a lengthy statement, absolutely scathing in its tone, refuting the allegations. It includes in the beginning, and I quote, "The following position is shared by BTS, their parents, and the agency. Before we make our official statement on the issue, the agency, BTS, and their parents ask JTBC to reveal what their intentions were when reporting these claims." Wait, what? Their parents? So between the end of the TV report, which aired at 8 p.m., and 1:30 in the morning, Big Hit contacted not just the members, but their parents to explain what happened with JTBC and get further information from them and obtain their agreement on a joint statement. So the first big question is, with all the rumors flying around during the contract renewal negotiations the previous year that were completely and utterly ignored by the agency, with all the rumors and false reporting going on about Bangtan all the time, why was this one report about a contract dispute important enough that it was necessary to immediately at, say, 10 o'clock at night, contact each of the members and their parents about it to get their agreement on a response? So what did Big Hit's statement actually say? The first two parts of the statement, as numbered, deal a lot with what Big Hit believes the JTBC report was alluding to, which I will talk about a bit later, and stating that the claims about the lawsuit and the profit-sharing disputes are false. A lot. Like, that's most of the statement. They are very firm about the fact there are no disputes between the agency and the members, and even if there were, they would be resolved without legal intervention. I'll put a link to 2 different translations of the statement in the video description for you to look at yourself. So then we get on to part 3 of the statement. And part 3 is interesting because it starts to deal with JTBC violating the journalistic code of conduct. Quote, JTBC made exaggerated claims without checking the facts properly. They not only tried to link the agency with completely unrelated issues, but they also showed conduct that makes us question if they are indeed a media outlet that strictly follows journalistic code of ethics. So Big Hit calling them out straight away for acting more like a tabloid than a serious journalism outlet, which is interesting. They go on to say, quote, they came to our agency without notice and began to question us one-sidedly without giving us any background explanation. No one is allowed inside specific parts of our agency building without authorization, but they came into our building without permission and filmed footage of the inside to use in their reports. They must have recognized it could be problematic, so they deleted the part where they secretly filmed our building before uploading it online. So JTBC didn't even make an attempt at a proper interview. They rocked up without an appointment, asked a few, quote, one-sided questions, didn't explain what the interview was even about or what they were investigating, and then proceeded to trespass into other areas of the building where they knew they weren't allowed, and filmed things that they knew they didn't have permission to access. Then Big Hit goes on to say, quote, we have CCTV videos of how JTBC gained the videos they initially used in the reports and how they entered our building without authorization. So Big Hit says directly here in no uncertain terms, we have the evidence of exactly how you entered our building, where you went, and what you saw because we have it all on CCTV. And surely the JTBC reporter knew there was CCTV and all of it would be filmed because there are security cameras everywhere in that building. So it can't be a surprise to anyone. And what did they do with all this unauthorized video? Who knows? The only footage that they used in the initial report and then deleted before they uploaded that report to the web for playback was a little bit about them literally just entering the building and hardly controversial. Okay, so then Big Hit says, quote, no matter what JTBC's intentions were with their reports, they caused damage to our company and BTS by releasing false reports. What do you mean, no matter what their intentions? They're a news program. Surely their intention should have been to report the facts? Oh wait, except it's looking very much like even as they broadcast it, they knew that story was not true. So is Big Hit implying or even calling JTBC out for having an ulterior motive? Possibly. So another big question now. Why did JTBC do this? Was it simply poor journalism? Unlikely from the history Newsroom has as a program. In fact, at the 2019 Media Awards, JTBC took first place in reliability and usability category and tied for first place with YTN in the fairness category. This was completely out of character for them. So why would a major news program go to the Big Hit building unannounced, make a lame attempt at an interview, sneak around with cameras, then release a completely untrue report that, according to Big Hit, appears to be based on a visit that some of the parents of the BTS members made to a law firm in Gangbuk, a place nowhere near the Big Hit building, when they went for some advice. So surely, if you want evidence of a pending lawsuit, there are easier ways of getting that information. And are there ever any well-intentioned reasons for a major news network to be trespassing and filming where they have no permission? Maybe. I mean, is there abuse going on? Mistreatment? Bullying? But possible filing of a lawsuit for profit distribution? I'm not so sure that counts. I have more thoughts on this, but let's finish up with the Big Hit statement first. Bear with me, guys. This is going somewhere. So finally, the statement ends with, quote, "We believe that JTBC did not abide by even the minimal principles with the recent reports, and we request JTBC to sincerely apologize and respond to the issue." An apology. After all that, trespassing, making false and defamatory claims against the agency, the BTS members, and their parents, all Big Hit wants is for them to say sorry. Maybe now is the time to remind you that Big Hit pursues and prosecutes to the fullest extent and without remorse, in their own words, people who put hate comments on social media. And I'm definitely not saying that they shouldn't. Cowardly keyboard warrior aunties should definitely be held accountable for their actions. But Jessica over there on Twitter is hardly doing the same amount of damage as a major news broadcast. So here we go with yet another big question. Isn't it a bit odd that they will literally put a person who makes a slanderous comment on Twitter into jail, but when a major news network makes false and defamatory claims against them, the BTS members, and their parents, all they want is an apology? Right, so that was a lot. Let's sum up so far before we move on. JTBC went to Big Hit without any warning, asked a few lame questions to give the appearance that it was an interview, but without telling Big Hit what the interview was about, then proceeded to sneak about restricted areas of the building and film things they had no permission to access. And it's all on CCTV, so both JTBC and Big Hit would have known what JTBC did, what they saw, long before the news report was aired. Then the report airs, claiming BTS are filing or about to file a profit distribution lawsuit. And within hours, Big Hit issues a joint statement with the members of BTS and their families, clarifying what they believe the origin of the report was based on, and calling out JTBC for their lack of journalistic ethics and asking for an apology. Right, so where did this all start? What was the supposed basis for this story? Well, going back to section 1 of Big Hit's statement, Big Hit believes it's based on a visit parents of BTS members, and they don't specify which parents, made to a law firm to, quote, ask about some issues regarding the part of the exclusive contract related to the video content business. Big Hit doesn't state that these questions were about profits from it at all. They do say it's part of the exclusive contract. So questions they might have been asking are, according to the contract, who has the exclusive right to air or profit from video content that's been filmed? Which video content that has been filmed is owned by Big Hit, which bit is owned by the members. It could even have extended to the right to privacy and the legality of unauthorized video being filmed and used. We don't know for sure. This is all speculation. We only know that the parents of the members were concerned enough about this, quote, video content to contact lawyers who then gave them no official advice about what to do regarding the situation. So that is where Big Hit is suggesting the report started. What makes this especially interesting is that in January of 2020, less than a month after this all happened, JTBC Content Hub Co. Limited announced that it expects to receive nearly 38 billion Korean won in funding from JTBC Broadcasting and other investors. So what is the JTBC Content Hub? Exactly what you think it is. It was the first fully integrated studio in Korea that aimed to open up, quote, new horizons in K-content. Okay, so now we have JTBC filming in the restricted area of the Big Hit building at the same time as they're preparing to make major investment to a video content creation business. And Big Hit stating publicly that the parents of the BTS members were already concerned enough about the rights to video content that they went to see a legal firm about it. Very interesting. Again, I keep thinking about what video content there might be that concerns the parents of the members. You've heard me say it a lot so far. There's a lot of talk about the parents, not just the members, but the parents. So, and this is where I start to ask even more questions. Could it be that JTBC had some video that was already concerning to the families? Because nowhere in the Big Hit statement does it say that the parents and the members were concerned about profit distribution. In fact, it denies it many, many times. So let's have a look at the behavior and the patterns of the parties involved after this happened to see if it gives us any clues as to the pieces that were missing. Firstly, did JTBC ever give Big Hit that apology they wanted? Well, yes and no. Nearly a week later, now remember, Big Hit responded within hours. Nearly a week later, on the 16th of December, JTBC issued an apology for filming without permission. However, they did not apologize for trespassing, and nor did they apologize for the lies that they told about Big Hit and the BTS members. They did release a revised report saying, quote, there was little possibility of conflict over the issue. And that's it. Even at the time, it sounded weak and insincere. And I'm not one of the aunties facing jail time for trending insulting hashtags. And did this negatively affect the relationship between Big Hit and JTBC? Well, to me, this is where it gets even more suspicious. Because in May of 2020, less than 6 months after JTBC is caught trespassing in the restricted areas of the Big Hit building, filming illegally, and accessing information they have no permission to see, broadcasting false and defamatory reports that involve Big Hit and the BTS members and their families, not only are they let off with a half-ass apology, they're awarded exclusive broadcasting rights for the first season of In the Soup, a very fly-on-the-wall documentary following the members' private activities while on vacation together. And then shortly after that, while the rest of us were forking over money to Weverse to pay to see the Big Hit New Year's Eve special, it was announced at the last minute that it would also be broadcast for free on which network? Oh yes, JTBC. So the things that we were having to pay for as ARMY, profit-making video content for Big Hit, JTBC was given the rights to broadcast exclusively on their network. It was the only place that you could access the content besides Weverse. As an old ARMY, someone who's been around since the Wings era, I've seen a lot of shit go down. And even at the time, before I started researching deeper into this and find out more evidence about what was happening at JTBC at the time, this has exactly the same energy as Dispatch making veiled threats to out couples, or, in this particular instance, a gay couple. And then seemingly getting exclusive access to BTS for interviews and photo shoots. There was always an underlying assumption that the reason Dispatch had access to BTS the way they did at the time was that they had something over the members and or Big Hit. Because that's who Dispatch are. They're a tabloid, and scandal is what pays their bills. Unless, of course, there's someone else who's willing to pay those bills in order to avoid that scandal becoming public. But would JTBC, their newsroom or their content creation hub, be interested in those kind of dating rumors? Yes, and we have proof. Because in December of 2023, it was JTBC that first reported that Taehyung of BTS and Jennie of Blackpink had ended their relationship prior to Taehyung's enlistment. I'd also say this proves that Tae and Jennie were indeed dating, but that'll just get me a bunch of hate comments from a certain section of the fandom, so we'll skip past that. So, again, do we have a motive? This move was very, very risky. Did JTBC really need the extra money that badly that they would be willing to put themselves in this position? Do we have any proof of financial hardship at the company? Well, yes, actually. Yes, we do. Because in June of 2019, JTBC applied for approval for a, quote, capital reduction to improve its finances. Now, what is capital reduction? It's a process of deliberately decreasing the company's shareholder equity through cancellations and share buybacks. It's not something they can do on their own. They need a special resolution at the general shareholders meeting, as well as meeting other requirements in Korea, such as publishing notice of how they're going to do it and the method they're going to use in one of the major daily economic papers, such as the Korean Economic Daily, which is an equivalent of the Wall Street Journal in the US or the Financial Times here in the UK. But why would they do it? Well, it's a way of reducing, and this is a quote, or eliminating accumulated losses. JTBC were in enough debt at that time that they needed drastic help. So was permission granted for this capital reduction? Nope. In fact, not only was it not granted, the whole situation was a mess. Politicians from the far-right Liberty Korea Party got involved. There was a delayed hearing with the Korea Communications Commission, and there was even an argument at the time that JTBC's issuance of corporate bonds might constitute fraud. Oops. So here we are in the middle of 2019. The entertainment sector is sluggish, ratings were stable but meh, and JTBC was carrying an excessive amount of debt that they accumulated between 2011 and 2016. And they've just been denied permission to implement a capital reduction plan. It looks very much like they needed new ways to find revenue in a hurry. So in July of 2019, JTBC began to reorganize their entire news team, implementing a new editor system for the first time since that network was founded. So here's my opinion, and this part is just my opinion, okay? At this point in 2019, JTBC were struggling with debt, and this new newsroom editorial team, like all the other areas of their business that were undergoing changes as well, were tasked with looking around for anything that could be high value for the company. Now, what is high value? What gets viewers tuning in? Scandals. And who in Korea is high value? BTS and Big Hit. BTS with viewers tuning in not just from Korea, but from around the world. Anything that created scandal would, or was concerning to the BTS members and their families, if it were to be exposed, would be very, very valuable. More so than a story about a contract dispute. I just don't see for the life of me how profit sharing or rumors about money squabbles as being sensational enough for a major news network to risk being criminally prosecuted for trespassing. Dating scandals, on the other hand, especially if the idols are found out to be in long-term committed relationship, are especially volatile. They make headlines and gain major, major attention. And major attention means major revenue. We saw this in 2018 when Hyuna and Dawn refused to continue to lie to their fans as their agency directed them to, and admitted that they had been dating for 2 years. The immediate response was Cube Entertainment sacked them both. And literally, right during the time that this was going on between Big Hit and JTBC, rumors started to surface that EXO's Chen was preparing to marry his pregnant girlfriend. The story finally broke on the 13th of January, just 10 days after JTBC announced its major investment surge into the content creation hub, and was explosive enough that part of the EXO fandom was demanding Chen's removal from the group, thereby creating two major news stories, the dating scandal and the reaction to it. And these are just the consequences of heterosexual relationships being found out. Now we are seeing something that, in my opinion, might be valuable enough to justify JTBC's dubious and incredibly risky behavior. You don't take major risks without the hope of a major reward. Well, since this is a JiKook channel, let's finally talk about Jimin and Jungkook and what part they might have had in all this. This is not to say there weren't more, other, or different things that might have been exposed during JTBC's little snoop around the restricted section. Of course, the other members probably were dating at that time. They are grown men, and goodness knows they deserve to be in romantic, loving relationships. But let's look at what was going on in 2019 that might just be tantalizing enough for a major news network to want to get their hands on. And that's not all. There were plenty more loud moments for JiKook in 2019 that I could have added. JiKook were wildly JiKooking at the time. So if you're a network looking for an explosive dating scandal, that's some pretty low-hanging fruit. And this wouldn't just be a dating scandal, but something that would expose members of the largest music group in the country, not only being in a committed relationship, but also being in a same-sex relationship. It would be explosive. This would give them enough revenue to pay the bills, or, even better, this would be one heck of a bargaining chip when you go to Big Hit and say you're looking for new content. So this isn't my analysis, but my questions for you to think about. Fact. We know for a fact that the main reason for JTBC being at Big Hit that day was not to interview them about a profit distribution story. Big Hit says as much when they recount the actions of the reporter that day. And fact. We know they were in financial trouble at the time. Also a fact, they had recently reorganized the newsroom team because of it, and so increasing revenue was a priority. Also a fact, they were preparing to open a new content creation hub. So why were they at Big Hit? Did JTBC hope to find evidence of scandal in their snooping around Big Hit? Or did they already have evidence before and were only looking for more confirmation of it? What if JTBC needed some new high-value content to attract and bolster the investment in this content creation hub that was happening at the time? They needed something really sensational. Or maybe they were trying to negotiate the rights for something they already had in mind to create, but Big Hit wasn't being agreeable? Why would a major respected news program brazenly broadcast a false news story, one that Big Hit knew immediately, because remember their statement was released in only a few hours, was alluding to the visit by the parents of BTS members to a law firm to make inquiries regarding video content rights? So something completely unrelated to profit distribution the news story was alluding to. Was it some weird sort of flex to show they were serious about releasing information they had, unless Big Hit was willing to, I don't know, maybe provide them with the rights to something else in its place? Something like exclusive rights to a reality series showing one of the largest music groups in the world? Concert replays, documentaries, etc. Certainly exposing a dating scandal between two members who were in a same-sex relationship would be enough to concern the members and their families, as well as the agency. I am open to more suggestions, guys. I really am. But for the life of me, I can't come up with any well-intentioned reason for JTBC to risk taking cameras and filming in a restricted area of the Big Hit building. They weren't looking for information. They were looking for secrets. And I can't come up with any other explanation for why Big Hit let them off so lightly about it all, other than they found them. And one of the biggest, most valuable, most sensational secrets to expose would be proof, irrefutable proof in some way, of a romantic relationship. A same-sex one would be even more explosive, especially for a network in Wikipedia's list of conservative media in South Korea. And would JTBC do something like comment on a private relationship? Well, yes. As we saw, they already had back in December when they reported on Tae and Jenny. So that was a lot to get through. Please keep in mind, I've given you a lot of facts. I've asked a lot of questions. I've given you my opinion on things, but you guys are smart and can make up your own minds about what you think might have happened. Do I think JiKook is real? Yes, 100%. Do I think JTBC were or are holding evidence of that? Who knows? It's as good a guess as any because they're all guesses. Personally, it's always been my concern that the bigger BTS get, the more difficult it will be for them to keep their private moments private. I especially worry about this when it comes to the personal relationships they have, whether they are with other members, idols, or non-celebrities. Right, so that's all from me for now. Please remember to subscribe and like the video. I also have a Patreon where you can find more JiKook information, stories, and goodies. It's free to join. Memberships start from just $1 a month. All the links are in the description, and stream all the content for our beautiful members so we can show them we love them. I wish them, like you, peace and love. Until the next time, guys. Take care.